Okay, so we are going to go over just some of the basics, what we've got going in our Google Drive here. So I'm sharing my screen, and I'm just going to go to google.com. So when you originally go to Google, these little things up here in the top right, if you click on that and then go, yikes, sorry, my folks were in the way there. Okay. Okay, and then you go to Drive, and it will pull up everything that's online. This is mine right here, but the new ambassador folder, this one right here, is the one that I will share with everybody. If you don't have a link, send me your information. If you need or if you don't have a Gmail account, you would need to set one up, but it can be a dummy account. Like, it can be something that you don't ever give anybody that information. It's just like, you know, like you end up using your email or whatever to sign on to iTunes. You can just pick this as an email that you use to sign on to Google Drive. That would let you access stuff. So if you go into the folder, I've tried to lay it out really easily here. So we've got a Start Here folder. Anything that you click on, if you double click it, it'll just open it up in Google Docs. And then you can go through, it's got some step-by-step here, some new ambassador training, three-way calls, talking about getting ready to post and cold messaging. So it's a lot of basics on that particular form. I'm going to close that one out. I've also got the daily action stack, because that's something you should be using every day building your business. And then the 7 steps to success, which is what we talk about when we have someone new and we're helping them get started. So basically, I've got it laid out here with a bunch of different folders across the top. So working Plexus, if we click on that, we're going to find some business building, some cold messaging examples and ideas, ways to do that. This talks about sharing on social media and having a sip and see. Like, if you want to, you know, get some people together and just talk about how the products have helped and stuff like that. Sip and sees can be phenomenal for getting people in front of you to really see what's going on, especially if you've got some people in your area that are either using the products already, or some other ambassadors, team members, sidelines, people on different teams, whatever. It's really helpful for them to hear from other people. So just real quick to go over sharing on social media. Basically, the best times to post are in the morning between like 6 and 8, around lunchtime between about 11 and 1, and in the evening about 7 to maybe like 9 or 10 at night. That's when Facebook is the most active. So you're going to get more visibility with your posts that way. Basically, if you're taking other people's posts and copying them, then it's okay to do that, but what you'll want to do is make sure that you're copying the text and then creating a new post. So don't ever hit share, because then it looks like you're just sharing someone else's information, and they might go to that person asking about Plexus instead of you. We don't want to use a ton of graphics. Like, try to make things personal. If you're using just a lot of graphics, and some of them are really cute and they're funny, and it's great to throw one in here and there, but if there's too much of that, then it just feels salesy on your page. So you want to, you know, make your post as personal as possible. Try to work it into what you're doing in the day, and make sure that you're staying compliant. There is, if we go to this sharing on social media, there's a whole bunch on compliance here in the beginning. You can also search for it on the pages. If you're on the computer and you go to the Pink Drink Tribe page, sorry, I've got like a whole lot of stuff open because, well, I'm me, and that's just what happens. So, well, there we go. Okay, so if you're on Facebook, and good grief, so many things open. I'm sorry. It's crazy. Whatever. So if we go to Pink Drink Tribe and we go to search this group, if you go, let's say, compliance, and search, you're going to come up with anytime anyone has mentioned compliance on there. And that can, my internet is just not very good, so I'm sorry. There it goes. So, compliance rules, things like that, you're going to find that on posts. You can search for keywords, anything like that on any pages. You can use this bar to search, and that's a really great way to find information. If you're just needing something really quick before you even go on to one of the threads and start asking questions, you can always do a search real quick. So it's very important to stay compliant because we want Plexus to be available to give people these products and to keep changing lives. And if we're going against their rules, then the FDA is going to get them in trouble, and we don't want to go there. I do have a compensation folder that goes over the written out compensation plan. I've got some different charts, ambassador incomes, just a basic graphic, and then a comp plan summary, which is a real easy thing to look at for just quick reference for the, how we get paid. I'm going to go back to, let's see, I'm going to go back to the new ambassador folder. When you've been posting and doing all these things, I've got a folder that actually just says someone asked for more info. So if we click on that, you've got a read first document right here. You can double click that. And if they say, hey, what's Plexus? Keep it short and sweet. Here's a couple of options. It goes over some different things about what if they say no, how do you explain pricing, excuses, objections, stuff like that. There's a whole lot of information there about things that people might say. That's a good place to start. I do have the graphic in there for the pricing. And then if they answer that question and say, well, I have fibromyalgia, what can you do with that? Or I have something else going on, what can you do with that? You can go to this email script, and I've got just a basic one right here. I've got one for rheumatoid arthritis. I've got one for thyroid. Those are just more specific to those things. And an ingredient list, which I'm working on upgrading or, updating that so that we have the current information on there. But for right now, that will still work. It's at least close enough for everything. So if they ask you for more information, you go to the more info email script, and it basically reminds you, okay, go in there and kind of change things. Like on this one, I have my family story in here. Make that something about you, kind of tweak it so that it sounds like you, because you want this letter to sound like it's coming from you and not that you copied and pasted something completely. So we've got this there. I will adjust some of these products. Like if I know, for example, maybe they're on an antidepressant and they can't use Accelerator Plus, I might just take that out. Sometimes I replace it with another product that they might need or that they were interested in. And I will send them that email along with this product ingredient. I'll send it as an attachment. So when you see this email, you can actually go in here, click it, and select all the text, just copy and paste into an email. That's the easiest way to get the information. And you can do that with any of the documents that are in here. Then when you get a response from there, and they, hang on one second. I love you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, buddy.
So cute. Hi, Alison. Sorry, I was a little late.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I'm glad you could hop on. So, okay, yeah, we were going over the email script. So when they say, okay, that's great, that sounds really good, I think I'd like to try it. And then you can go over, okay, I have a customer. This person wants to try things. Depending on what they want to try, you're going to send them some information. I've got a startup email right here that goes over just some basics, especially if they're doing triplex. It's extremely important that you're following up with them regularly so that we can, manage detox and that kind of stuff. So I've got a startup email, and as soon as they place their order, you would want to copy and paste that. Again, you can tweak it so that it sounds like you, but get the basics of that in there. And I always include the directions for the triplex right here and the kicking candida yeast, because that just gives them a little bit more information. Got some basics on customer care in here, some troubleshooting ideas. And then I've got a couple basic just graphics that I will send to people sometimes if they're having some detoxing or die-off symptoms and they're not really sure what's going on. If they're definitely using BioCleanse and ProBio, I send this one because it includes both. If it's just some general die-off, I usually will send the other one. But this is just some basics for kind of getting people started on the products. So once they've gotten that, if they say, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to join, then I've got a folder here for adding a team member. And I've got a checklist for adding new ambassadors. So basically, we will want to send them an email with a link to this particular thing. And if everybody can send me their Gmail, I can send a link out for that. But that way, everybody has access to all of the stuff in this Dropbox. You can save it. You can, copy and paste and make your own documents. You can adjust it how you want. So you want to make sure that they have access to this. You want to add and welcome them to the team pages and tag them in it. Use their picture, tag them in it, tag the uplines. So I think right now we only have one other team page of the people that are on my team. So if you're on that team, then add to their team page, but then also add to mine and add to Randy's, which is the Plexus Power Squad. So every single new ambassador should be added to those pages. And that's not because we're expecting people to work. I find that it makes wholesale customers feel more comfortable if I say, hey, she's here to get the best prices on her product. She's really excited, to just save some money and get healthy. And that's fine. And then they don't feel like there's an expectation for them to do anything else, but it's very important that they get on the team pages because that gives them so many more resources for learning about what they're doing and what they're taking and what their body's going through. It gives them resources to look at it and go, maybe this is something I want to share about. Maybe this is something that I would like to do as a business. But if we're not exposing them to that, then we're making that decision for them. And that's really not fair to them because we don't necessarily know what's going on in people's lives a lot of times. So it's extremely important that they get added to all the team pages, and that should be done like right away. And that way it doesn't get lost in the shuffle and doesn't get forgotten. And it makes them feel special and like they're part of something as well. And then you want to introduce them to a couple of uplines in a Facebook message and just say, hey, this is my friend Allison, and she's been, using these products for over a year. And if they're just a wholesale customer, you can just say, if you have questions, you can shoot them in here. And that way, if I can't get to you fast enough, Allison can help out as well. And it just makes them feel more welcomed and more in communication with me. And that way, if they are having trouble and we're trying to help, it keeps you from having to send messages back and forth. And, hopefully they would feel comfortable just saying in there, hey, I've got a headache. Is that normal? And then we can just answer those things easier. It makes everything a little bit smoother. And I can usually stay on top of my messages a little bit faster. And then if you can get them, especially if they're working the business, we need to get them on a Zoom chat right away to just help them get started, help them feel comfortable, let them know where to start and what to do, and kind of go over this stuff with them. A lot of times wholesale ambassadors aren't really interested in getting on a call, but if they do, it's great to just talk and hear testimony and say, how can we support you in your health journey? We're definitely not about pressuring anybody into anything. So they can always feel rest assured that we're not going to be saying, well, you need to sell this, you need to share, you don't need to do anything. I want you to feel better, bottom line, and we're going to help you do it. So when you have a new ambassador that's going to share, again, you want to help them with their first Facebook post, give them some ideas, and I can help with that too. There are lots of videos and articles that are in this Google Drive as well. And make sure that they're getting those directions on how to take their products, and make sure you're staying in contact with them. If you're building a business on the team, I cannot overstress duplication, because your team is going to do what you're doing. If you're not adding people to pages, they're not going to add people to pages because they're not seeing the value in doing it. If you're not talking to people about the importance of consistently ordering and having their convenience orders set up so that they can get their products on time, so that they'll be consistent with them. And so that, they have a level of commitment to say, I'm actually going to give these products a fair shot, then your team's not going to do that. And it's not really building a solid foundation for your team. So it's extremely important that we, learn how to talk to people about things like that. And if you're not comfortable with it, talk to me, message me. I can help you with some wording and how to talk to people, because I was uncomfortable with that in the beginning too. I didn't understand why I needed to add people to team pages. I didn't understand why it mattered if they had a convenience order on. But then I realized that even me, if I don't have a convenience order on, I forget. Life happens and I don't order in time, and then, oh my gosh, I'm out of products. And that's not fun. So we don't want people to feel like that, because if they are forced to make that buying decision every single time, things happen and they get busy and they don't do it, and then they're out and then they don't feel good and they go, well, these products don't work. Well, they do, but if you're not giving them a fair shot, they're not magic. So that's real important when you're adding new ambassadors. I've got written out joining instructions here, some graphics for adding or upgrading welcome packs, and how to set up the convenience order. So I've got all that and adding a team member there. And then in these other two, I've got some usage directions in here. I've got a basic triplex startup. I've got the one that Carrie made for people who have different digestive issues, including diarrhea. So it kind of helps them start last with BioCleanse a little bit easier that way. There's a migraine startup here, which they do better starting with BioCleanse. Ease and Nerve do great with loading doses. I've got some other optional start stuff here if they're doing just triplex and X Factor, if they're doing Slim and Vital Biome and X Factor, just a couple little options. And then these product instructions go through each one. So if you're like, gosh, I don't know what to tell them about how to take Nerve because I've never taken it, or I don't know what to tell them about how to take, this, it has a sample schedule. Like, how do we use body cream? Oh, look at that. Okay, I've got these things. So it really helps you with just the real basics on how to do it. And of course, everybody is different, and sometimes we have to move these things around, but this is kind of where to start with product instructions. So all of that stuff can really, really be helpful. The product info one that I have, again, I've got a little bit of the die-off stuff in here just to kind of repeat that because it bears repeating. I've got the price and PV sheet in here and the product information. I've got video training on every single product. Some wording, like little blurbs about each thing, so that can help you if somebody says, well, what does this do? You can just go to the Google Drive, and this is something that you can put on your phone, so you don't have to save all these documents on your phone. You can actually get the Drive app on your phone and go and look it up and be like, oh, I have that wording right here, even though I'm at a baseball game. So that's part of why I put it all on here, to make it really, really easy, because you can use it on your phone, on your computer, on your iPad, whatever. And then I've got the product ingredients over here. I've just got a label for each one. Some of them, what I have is a little bit fuzzy, so I'm going to work on kind of making these a little bit clearer. Like I think it just sometimes is hard to read in these little ones down here. So I'm going to work on that a little bit, but at least right now it's some basics. I don't tend to send the ones out with the pricing on them very often, unless it's somebody who's already ordering wholesale and ordering their 100 PV, and they're asking, well, what do I, how much is it if I add X Factor Plus, or tell me about X Factor Plus? And then you can send them this, and it has the wholesale pricing on there, because they're going to get that anyway. But I don't like to send it out to people who are starting with just 1 or 2 products and aren't going to make that 100 PV, because it's not worth their money to join at that point. They're better off as a retail or preferred customer. So that is kind of the basics of this new ambassador folder. And again, I'm going to just leave that open to share with everybody. If y'all have a Gmail address, send it to me, and that way I can give you a specific link to it. I can actually go in here, and if I just click on that, I right-clicked on it, and I can hit share. And this would be how you did it with your new ambassador as well. So then anyone with a link can view it. So you would just type their email address in there and hit done, and it will send them a link with it. And then they immediately have access to everything that we have right here. And so you can kind of walk through it with them and tell them how it works. So
Alison, I got my Gmail account.
Okay.
After you told me about the Google Drive, I downloaded. So it's can I add it, or how does it work?
Here, I will do it right here. Tell me your email address and okay, what is it?
So my last name, Pedraja, Monica,
Oh,
all together, at gmail.com should be.
all
Is it
right.
not coming up?
All right. It should have just sent you a link. And so you'll get here, I'm gonna stop screen sharing there. You'll get that link and then you'll be able to go in and see all of those files and you can share all of that. There's some great reading information. I did try to record this. I'm thinking it worked. I'm new to recording these calls, so you can go back and see in the beginning of how I got there and stuff. But yeah, this would be really, really helpful. And it basically has all of the wording and the information, and that'll really help you as you're going through and people are saying, okay, this person wants more information, and then there's a folder that says somebody asked for more information. You can see where to start there, so it helps walk you through everything.
Great.
So I'm going to stop recording and then we will kind of just wrap things up. But thank you all very much.